Right, this is the Committee on Government Operations, Public Safety, and Public Service. This is Thursday, January 22nd, 2015. We're at 6 p.m. I have Councilor Sajeda.
Here.
I have Councilor McKinnon. Here. I have Councilor Delasola.
Here.
And I have Councilor Mangan. We have 4 members present. We do have a quorum.
Stand and salute the flag. Clerk, read item number 1.
All right, the first piece of business. This is a resolution up by Councilor Cynthia Sani and Rosa DeFlorio to request that the owner of the Gateway Shopping Plaza appear relative to procuring private traffic details on weekends and holidays.
Can we invite Councilor
Do
DeFlorio?
we have anyone from the, yeah. Or invite Councilor DeFlorio. Motion made to invite Councilor DeFlorio to the,
Second.
so move, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Melissa Murphy just went down to get the Chief Mazie. He's down in the office. But I don't see anybody from the mall maintenance department here. So they weren't invited? Okay. But anyways, we know that this is an ongoing problem, and this problem has to be resolved. It's more on the holidays, say the month of November, December. It's not as bad on other times, but those are the times that we have to figure out what we have to do with because, God forbid, and like I said, it's a public safety issue. It's not just about sitting in traffic for 45 minutes or an hour. What if somebody has a heart attack in there? How are they going to get in and out of there? There's no possible way that an ambulance could get through all those cars. So we have to come up with something, and maybe Chief Mazie has a recommendation. And if he doesn't, my recommendation is to send it to the mayor's office and Jamie Erickson and see what they can come up with.
I'll accept the motion to have Chief Mazie appear before us. All in favor?
Aye.
Chief Mazie, thank you for appearing. Thank you, Chief.
I'm on.
It's on.
All right, so this information I just presented to you is information that was requested about some traffic spots that we fill down there that the management company has been paying. It's not the fix, long-term fix that's needed. But, I mean, there has been an effort made. The other problem is on the weekends, especially when you go into the holiday season, it's hard to, you know, under legitimate public safety stuff, we can force officers to work. Sometimes this goes unfilled because of the times of days and stuff, but it's a daunting task, too, to move that kind of traffic. Long-term, I mean, the design of the circle is a problem down there. I think we all kind of know that. And to utilize officers to move traffic, you would need a significant amount of officers. And the issue becomes even more complex because it's a state road, it's jurisdiction of state police. And, you know, inside the mall is ours, but even the road going into the mall, abutting the park, I believe, is a state police road. So you get multiple jurisdictions involved, and then you have, you know, Wellington Square one way and a number of lights the other way. I wish I could come up here and say, hey, I have a great plan to fix this overnight, but I don't. And I know, there's been talk of potentially road redesign down there, which I think would help out. We always said from the get-go, we thought it was gonna be problematic. It is problematic. But on the other hand, if you go around any mall during, especially holiday season, pick a mall, it's crazy with the volume of people, volume of cars, et cetera. So some effort's been made, but I just think it's not enough to fix or to satisfy people, especially if you're impatient.
Councilor Mangan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, I noticed, because my daughter works part-time down there at Costco, so I was in there and out of there a lot, whether it was heavy traffic or not. But one of the suggestions I would have, just from my own situation going down there enough, is when you go down, when you initially go in, when you're gonna take the left to go in before Target, right
Yeah.
there, your first left, at possible times, would it be possible to put up like cones there and then have direct people to the back of Target coming around through Costco and coming in that way? Just so the traffic flows and so they're not taking a left there, maybe only at certain times, I don't mean the whole time, but just certain hours that it's the busiest, just having people flow. And then one of the things I see is people come out of Target, at that midpoint, and that seems to back up a lot of
I
things,
believe
too.
that's where they were putting a point there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe that's one of the areas that, when you were just describing that, I believe that's where we are, when you come out of that exit at Target to cross the road. That's where, when it's filled, that's where one of the offices, I believe, is, preventing people from doing that.
Okay, because the other thing too is that, in Council De La Sola and I were talking about this, is that also too, like I said, is having people exit out on the side going, if you're facing Home Depot, only at certain times, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you
Yep.
come out that way instead of, because when people coming out with that, you were seeing with the officer, is that midpoint there, that really backs up a lot. People can't go anywhere, and people don't let you across, and it just becomes a big cluster over there. and
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Well, keep in mind, I mean, it's private property. I mean, when anything we come up with, they'd have to say it's okay to do and
Correct,
work
I
with them.
understand
And I don't know, is a representative from them here?
No, we
didn't
invite him.
Okay. The only other, in looking at the location and the volume and the traffic flow, the one thing that I thought would work, but I don't know, and it might be environmental reasons why it didn't happen, when you're looking at the mall, if there was an exit that went out onto 16 eastbound, down by, so now you have Fridays, but the last store at the end of the line, I think Michael's is there. If there was something by Michael's that exiting from the parking lot there that just went eastbound on 16, would move out a lot of congestion. There's no, I mean, as you guys know, you can't, there's one way in, one way out down there. Or something out the backside, but that hasn't been feasible. But I think that would be a solution. I know there's a marshland there, and I don't know if that was originally why there was, why it wasn't done.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor De La Sola?
Just a quick question. I noticed you got the details here on that piece, on the
Yep.
information you gave us. I know they're there all year, correct? Details, going by this?
They shouldn't be there all year.
I don't, well, you know what, apparently they have been. I think it's more on weekends is when they try to get them there. It's not, I don't think it's 7 days a week. It's on weekends.
I got it from February all the
And
way to.
it's not always filled either, though.
Oh, see here, August.
Yeah, these are on weekends only. Weekends. Yep.
Now, I was on there yesterday. The cruiser you have down there with the lights flashing, he's in the Target parking lot. Is that part of this, or is that just
No, it's a separate,
surveillance?
that's part of our, just deployment of officers. Right now, as a matter of fact, when I was coming in here just now, he was just helping no trespass, somebody from Target. I mean, we spend, on regular duty resources down there because it's a high-volume area, high call for service. So we've always looked at it as better to be there and do more prevention. We do still respond to a lot of calls, but I think by him being there, you'll see lights on occasion, moves around. That does a good job, has a good relationship with the people in the stores down there. But, one guy's not going to solve all the problems either.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Council McKinnon?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the chief. Chief, has the state police been in conjunction with your department?
We've spoken to them. As a matter of fact, right back during the holidays, it was supposed to. I usually reach out to the major A troop, which is 16s and part of that patrol area. They were looking at, they were supposed to have the Department of Transportation tweak the lights to see if they could do something with the lights. They did it. I just don't know if it, gave the results that we wanted. And I truly believe it doesn't matter. When you go into the holiday season, the volume, I don't really care how you tweak the lights, how many traffic posts you're going to have. You're going to have traffic problems. It's going to, it is what it is.
Let me see.
But we've been talking to
Has it
them.
been getting better since the,
I really don't know. I can't say. I'm one of those guys that tries to avoid the malls on the weekends, so I'm not. I haven't heard much feedback, to be honest with you. But I can try to see if we can see if it's helped at all.
thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Councilor DeFlorio, what is your pleasure?
Well, I don't know if I can make the recommendation, it's up to the board, but like I said, my recommendation is have it come to the floor, and then I'm just gonna refer it to the mayor's office and Jamie Erickson to see what they can come up with as far as another means of egress, or put it into the study to see what we can do in the future.
So you wanted to go to the meeting? Next meeting?
You could, let it go out the next meeting, yeah.
All right, motion made to have this go to our next meeting.
No,
and
refer
Refer it to the next meeting? Or do you want it to be referred to?
it to the agenda, once it comes back on the agenda, I'm just gonna refer it to the mayor's
Oh,
office.
okay.
Yeah, so that,
Recommendation would be refer it to the next meeting?
To the mayor's office.
To the mayor's office?
mayor's
Recommendation
office and Jamie Erickson to see if they can do a study on
to the
how they
mayor's
can get
office
the,
and
yeah.
Jamie Erickson's office to see if they could do a study.
Motion's been made to refer this to the mayor's office and been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? That's passed.
Thank you,
Clerk, read
thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Item number 2.
Supposed to excuse.
All right, item number 2.
I'm staying.
This is a resolution offered by Council John Leo McKinnon that the chief of police appear to explain any camera comments.
Councilor McKinnon?
Chief, through you, Mr. Chairman, to the chief. Chief, could you just explain if there was any grants for cameras that you were going after, or you already, have received? And also, I believe there's like 4 devices maybe that a grant that you may have had for weapons and caliber of weapons if they were shot off in the city, if they had actually come into the city and you did actually receive them.
Yep. So we have over 20 cameras that are currently up in the city, throughout the city, dating back to first implementation was down in the port area in the aftermath of 9/11. Since that, we've added cameras on some of our main arteries, different neighborhoods leading into the city, as well as most of the parks have a camera. And the vast majority of those cameras were paid through via grant money. I think maybe with the exception of the parks, I believe that came through city government probably a couple years ago, I want to say. And so the cameras vary. I mean, some are tilt, pan, zoom. Some are fixed cameras. Most of the ones I think in the park are fixed. We can't do much with them. We also have a couple quick deploy cameras. We can move around, and we have moved them around for looking at some of our hot spots. We can take them off of one area and throw them up in another neighborhood. We're in the process of doing that right now. We're readjusting 2 of those that we have. Most of that, the camera stuff has come through the Metro Boston Homeland Security Regional Grant Funds. There may be additional funds in the future. Right now, on our list of priorities and what we've been approved of, I don't believe there's any cameras, any additional cameras right now. Second issue you're referring to is a ShotSpotter technology. ShotSpotter is, in a nutshell, it's technology that includes sensors that are spread throughout the city, and they have the ability to pick up loud audibles, including gunfire, and it discerns between gunfire, fireworks, backfiring, etc. these acoustic sensors triangulate where the noise came from. Software comes up on a dispatch center's console in our 911 office communications, and the dispatchers are able to direct dispatch officers to the scene of what would be gunfire going off within seconds. The company has a 24-hour operations center that actually listens to it and processes it to make sure that it is gunfire. And so they actually are getting it simultaneously and kind of push it through and list it as gunfire. It lists, it can tell you how many rounds are fired. It can differentiate, it has forensics capabilities that differentiate between the type of rounds that are fired. It's great technology. A colleague of mine, the former New Bedford Police Chief, who's now out in South Bend, Indiana, had it installed out there about 2 years ago. And speaking to him, and they have a large gang problem with a lot of gunfire out there. And they were putting literally officers on the scene of bad guys walking away from the scene with a smoking gun still in their hand. So since we've had the technology, which was, I think it was finally up in like late July, early August of 14, we've had, I think in 14 we had 9 activations of it. And in the new year, unfortunately, we've had 2. The good thing about this technology is, the hard thing is we don't have a baseline, because before, you could have gunfire go off at 2 o'clock in the morning and no one would call us. So we didn't know what we were capturing, what we weren't capturing. If we were lucky, a neighbor called and said, hey, I heard a couple bangs. We go down and check it out, and if we found, some ballistic evidence or some damage or a victim, that would be great. But a lot of times you weren't getting it. Now we're getting most of the calls, so it's hard to really, like I said, it's hard to compare from what we were missing before. But now going forward, we're going to be developing a baseline. And in a number of the activations, we've actually been able to put officers on the scene fairly quickly and make arrests of individuals with firearms, which is great. Unfortunately, some of these individuals, we've had a number of young folks, 17, 18 years old, carrying large caliber semi-automatic pistols, as doing things as such, 1 o'clock in the morning, sitting in a park just shooting weapons off. For what reason, who knows? So that's in a nutshell how it works. We did have, with the incident, homicide we had over the weekend, that incident was picked up on it. It did put officers on the scene. The night before, there was an activation as well. Through investigation, we feel very comfortable that the weapons used in both those incidents are no longer on the streets as we speak. We feel pretty comfortable right now in that. So
That came through grant money as well?
it did. That was through Metro Boston Homeland Security Regional Funds. It was part of a project. The City of Boston PD's had the technology for a number of years. This was discussed in cities of Everett, Chelsea, and Revere were interested in it, and under one project they installed in the 3 cities, and they're paying for it for a number of years. The technology is extremely expensive. I'm not going to kid you there.
Now, how many of these devices do we have?
I'd rather not go into details,
Oh, okay. That's fine. I don't need to know that.
specifics of it. I think what you need to know is that, there's
Are
sensors.
they in the hot spots, should I say?
They're in the areas that we believe put us in the best position to disrupt and respond to incidents where people may be committing crimes or use gunfire, use weapons rather.
Well, personally, I want to, thank you and the men and women of the department. Reason being is because of the incident that happened.
Yep.
And the suspect was, I believe, caught a couple of days later. That's fast acting for something like that. And then there was an incident down my end, and they ended up, I believe, catching an individual with a weapon as well.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, in some of these incidents, I will say we've seen, and it's not just happening just lately. The trend over the last number of years has been this, unfortunately, more firearms on the streets. all over. It's a problem all over the country. And the unfortunate thing is bad guys, criminals getting their hands on firearms. And our guys, our men and women of Everett PD have done a good job of responding and disrupting some of these people that are carrying and using the firearms. And the good thing is there's been no harm done to, for the most part, to our people are engaging these people with firearms, you know, while they're disarming these criminals with them.
Now, let me see. Yeah, that's all I had to say. Thanks. Thank
Okay.
you for that. That was good information, and I think that it's going to be a help in the future for this city anyway. Thank you.
I agree.
Any other questions from the?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Have a good night.
Motion made to refer back to sponsor. All in favor? Clerk, read item number 3.
All right. Item number 3. This is a resolution offered by Council Peter Napolitano that the Director of City Service appear at this meeting to provide a description on the plans to repair affected or damaged capital improvements.
Can we have Councilman Napolitano before us, please?
Motion made to invite Councilor Napolitano. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
My main concern is that, you know, we are spending quite a bit on continuing on capital improvements, and I think, you know, as a result, the city is looking great. But my main concern is that, is how long some of these repairs are holding up. You know, I've taken a look at a number of the sidewalks that have been installed over the last 2 to 3 years. A lot of them are not holding up. Some of our older sidewalks that we haven't even gotten to yet, that are 20, 30 years old, are in better shape than some of the new ones. You know, my own block, maybe 25 to 30% of the sidewalks, which are less than 3 years old, are cracked and need to be replaced. So I just want to make sure that, you know, that there is, I want to know what, you know, what we're looking at for warranties, if any, and then what steps we're taking to make sure that we're revisiting these jobs that have been done, to make sure that if there has been any substandard work, that it's been repaired, that quality work has been done in its place, and to make sure that there are steps or safeguards in place to ensure to hold the contractors accountable. So, and it's all about the taxpayers' money, and that's all we're trying to do is just be a better safeguard of that money. So that's my goal. Initially, when I proposed this, we had a permanent director. I'm sure the two gentlemen that are here to represent it have you know, some information on the issue. So I welcome their, you know, their input.
Could we invite both the city service directors?
Motion made to invite the 2 directors. All in favor?
Aye.
Guys, if you could just state your names and titles.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Jerry Navarra.
Flip this way.
Ernie LaRiviere.
And Jerry, what's the title, what do you have now for a title?
I'm currently acting DPW Director,
DPW.
along with Ernie.
I am acting DPW Director / I am the Water Superintendent also.
So you got a good job. All right. Some of the concerns that you've just heard from Councilman Napolitano, how would you address them now?
Well, we do a review at the end of fiscal year, actually calendar year, pending when the job is completed and inspected by the city. And then we do follow up. I explained to Peter outside the chambers that crosswalks have about a 3-year warranty and sidewalks are about a 1-year warranty. All safeguards are built into all the contracts. So if they fall in that guideline, they are held responsible for the maintenance of that. After the year's up or the 3 years up, then the city's responsible.
Another question, has there been a different grade that you guys been noticing in the concrete that they've been using, like a lighter gray compared to a darker gray shade, and the darker or the lighter is prevalent?
I believe they have withdrawn some chemicals, right?
That's not, that's
Calcium or something in it or something?
They use
to that?
calcium in the winter to keep it from freezing, making it workable while you're laying down the concrete.
Mhm.
But the color, the color it varies. One truck it might be a little lighter, the next truck might be a little darker, but that's in no relation of if it's weak or if it's the temperature when it's being poured at, like in late in the season.
Mhm.
We usually tell the contractor or the consultant that's working on that job that, it's not very good to pour, and if the contractor makes an agreement with them, if it survives the winter, come spring, if it's free from cracks,
Then you'll
good.
accept it?
Well, you have a year.
Still have a year
Yeah,
of warranty.
Still have the year.
Yeah, but if it's poor late in the season and it's cracked, at the contractor's dime, it comes out.
And they chip it
Yeah,
out.
they have to replace
it.
Correct.
Right.
Put it back in. Is it reinforced with rebar or anything like that?
No,
So there's no rebar in it? It's just
Um,
pour and that's it?
poor. The driveways should have wire mesh in it,
Okay,
yes.
so,
At 6 inches, sidewalks are 4 inches.
right now. This is a question to Councilman Napolitano. Is there any other concerns that you had other than the concrete and the cracking of the concrete, or any other issues that you had?
Just that work that has been done and that's now out of warranty, but still is only 2 to 3, 4 years old, is addressed. Again, I don't want it to appear like it's only my street, because it's not the case. But I know my block, like I said, we've requested it to be repaired, going on 2 years now. The repairs are actually, the damage is actually worse, because now ice has gotten into the cracks, expanded, opened up the cracks. There's a house on the other end of our block that has basically 14 feet of damaged sidewalk with a crack that's probably about a half-inch wide. That's substantial. Sidewalks, again, are less than, about 3 years old. They shouldn't be that way. And I know the city doesn't want them to be that way. But it's not the only situation where that's the case. So, and I did speak to Mr. Navarro about that. He did say, give him a call, let him know, and I will take him I'll take him up on that, I'll take more direct action on the damage that I'm aware of, in addition to my own street. But that's my main concern. The sidewalks, the crosswalks, I'm glad to hear that there's a 3-year warranty on them. I've looked at some of the ones that have been done recently. Again, I don't think it's holding up as much as it should. Now, whether that's weather conditions, or it's how it's applied, or it's just a grade that's not capable of handling the type of traffic flow that we have on Route 99, then again, I just want to make sure that we're spending taxpayers' money, we're getting the biggest bang for the buck, and it's holding up. That's all I'm concerned with.
Okay. My other question would be to Mr. Navarro. If we have a list of items that we see, can we just call you, make a list, and say, hey,
Absolutely.
can we check these in and make sure that...
Can I have my cell phone, work phone, email, whatever you want.
Exactly. So, all right, so that would be a procedure we can utilize.
Yeah, I don't know if you realized that they did develop a street sweep team this late fall, which was a organized group of many departments throughout the city, and we actually physically walked the streets and reported any issues that we might have seen out on the streets, whether it be your sidewalks, streets, stumps, blighted properties, et cetera, and it actually worked very well. We just kind of cut it off with the winter season, which we plan on picking back up in the spring. And it was very useful, resourceful for not only us, the residents came out, had conversations, and it was actually a win-win situation for the city and the residents.
Good, good. That sounds great. If we could start it up in the spring and then just keep going.
Absolutely.
Possibly get Mr. Napolitano's neighborhood done, that would be a great thing, so.
Absolutely.
I know that other councils may have questions.
Council Della Sola?
On the crosswalks, he says a 3-year warranty on the crosswalks?
3-year warranty.
On the crosswalks, we all know, the crosswalk's only good as the road itself.
Correct.
No matter how good they paint it, the hot top breaks up, nothing you could do. If the hot top breaks up, are we liable, or the contractor that put the crosswalk in?
The hot top, I would
Yeah.
assume that would fall under our
Does that fall
responsibility.
under us? So it's only the wear and tear of the paint?
Yeah.
Correct.
And on the sidewalks, it's only a year warranty? On
That's in the
concrete?
contract, yes.
That's what the contract.
Have you seen a pattern on any contractor that we use? I don't want to,
Well, we do get weekly reports from World Tech, and they fill us in, we actually go out and inspect. I personally drive around and check streets out afterwards, and I get on the phone with, Scott Kapinski of Marchese, or I get on the phone with John Gaudette, World Tech, and I want, we have a little punch list, and we try to get things resolved in a timely manner. Some things don't always go as we want, but we try to do the best job we can.
Okay. Well, they watched, like, the jobs going on now, I see a lot of work going on now, even on the contractors that are in town doing the gas work. They'll all be overlooked at the end of the winter.
Correct, along
no
with
settlement
the
and all that
engineer,
stuff?
Julius was out there as
Yes.
well. He's very visible with the contractors out there as well.
Okay. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Councilor McKinnon?
I'd like to make a motion that, if councilors see any type of concerns or any type of cracks in sidewalks or anything like that, to just directly send it to, report it to the mayor's office and send it to actually Jerry Navarro's office as well as Mr. Laverty, so that we can actually make sure that we get these things accomplished, and then that they follow up with this again in the spring, as they said they were going to. So, the motion would be to actually make, let's see, I want to do this right. Motion to send it to the mayor's office and then to Mr. Laverty and also to Mr. Navarro, any concerns that any councilor has, and then to actually have it begin the program again in the spring of the walk-around program.
Did you get that motion?
That was a good motion.
Anyone second that motion?
Anybody want to second that one?
Motion's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Excuse the customary thanks.
Thank you,
guys.
thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Motion made to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned.